Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 49, streamed live on May 4th, 2019. The entire time I was saying that, I was echoing in my own ear, so I feel like I've gotten pretty good at this.
Yes, indeed.
My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Marius.
Hello.
And Florian.
Hello.
Hello. We have a roundup of news and questions to answer today, so I think we're going to get right into it. Let's start off with the OTA 9 release candidate. Ubuntu Touch OTA 9 is almost ready.
Yeah, it's coming along real nicely. I know it's...
Here we go again.
Okay. OTA 9 download is blocking Mario's internet, probably.
I'm falling out of space.
Yeah, you are. Hello.
Am I alive? No, I'm dead.
You're back. Would you like to try saying all of that again?
Okay. So, yeah, OTA 9 is coming to shape. It's getting really nice. I forgot what I already said, so I said something new this time. But yeah, it's not the thing that we all wanted was the new Unity 8. The Unity 8 will come in the next one, hopefully.
Yeah.
The thing is that there was a lot more paper cuts that we didn't expect. For example, one major one was the window manager is all redesigned for desktop and didn't really have much focus on phones. So we need to...
So there are still bugs.
Still a lot of bugs. But
in Unity 8 and Mir, the new version that was supposed to come in this update,
8.1,
but now isn't. And that's why we tracked it separately. And that's why we will continue to track it separately from OTA 10. Yeah. So any fixes that get into OTA 10, it could still be released without the new updates to Mir and Unity 8. But let's talk about what actually is an OTA 9 instead of that.
Well, I quickly want to mention why we are doing this. It's just we don't want to wait around for these releases. We want to get those releases out because there's a lot of good fixes in here. So instead of us waiting for Unity 8 to be ready, we release it now, which is a better trade-off for anyone. So yeah, go ahead with the good stuff.
Let's see what actually is in. So we've got fixes in the Morph browser for pop-ups like permissions dialogues and the open and new tab, that pop-up thing, appearing over the correct window instead of over the primary window. So private browsers like me will love that. We've got a new and updated icon set thanks to Michelle, who merged in the work that was done at Canonical in the final hour leading up to the drop of the project. But there are some great new and improved icons that you might notice, but you also might not, because it's small changes and just makes everything look a little bit nicer. The big one in this, the Nexus 5 camera is fixed, mostly. So, have you ever seen that GIF where someone is turning off bugs, and every time he turns one off, it turns a bunch of other ones on? That's kind of this situation. So, we've got...
Let's see a test for you.
The camera, which you can take a picture with, and it doesn't freeze. That is huge for us. But it might still have problems going into video recording mode. Of course, switching to the app switcher and back still fixes it, and that will still be listed in the known issues section of the release notes. But this is huge, and you can also do video recording with it. I almost forgot to mention that. That was not possible before.
It is a major improvement.
Major improvement from what it was before. And
even though, as Dalton said, there is some quirks, but yeah.
So thank you to Ruben for fixing that.
Yeah. I still don't understand why it's working, because that fix makes it. Yeah,
it doesn't
Android.
Make sense, but it works.
The Android layer is a mysterious cloud of nothing. So yeah,
but and some other assorted fixes. All of that is listed in the blog post, the OTA 9 call for testing. So we are still looking for people who want to help test OTA 9. If you'd like to go over to that blog post, it has all the instructions that you need to test and fix and help us make sure that everything was fixed and there's nothing residual.
Well, you can fix issues also.
Yeah.
They may just come in and
release.
Oh dear.
We're expecting to start the staged release on Wednesday, and the stage, as always, will go through Sunday. So that is May 8th to start releasing and May 12th for it to finish, assuming nothing else comes up during these last few days of testing. I think the bigger story here, though, is that Marius almost got out of this one without committing directly into the system. He almost got out of this one without doing any work directly on this update of Ubuntu Touch.
Almost, yeah.
Now, why that is a good thing is because Marius has been directly involved in the project since 2015.
No, 15.
14.
I forgot the one. 15, yeah.
And he has been involved in basically every piece of the software development since the beginning. The fact that now we have an update that he didn't directly need to work on means that, one, he can work on things that are actually fun.
Well.
Or...
I wouldn't say the window management stuff in Unity 8 is especially fun, but it's important.
Yeah.
For the new, because it's funky now.
He can... And his resources are much better used doing those huge projects. So it's really great that we have everyone, myself, and the entire community able to organize and get these updates out without needing all of this intervention from the core team anymore.
Without needing the beloved dictator for life.
You're not a dictator. Stop it.
No, that was just a reference to. It was a reference to last week.
I know.
We talked about. Yeah, but yeah.
If you'd like to learn more about why Ubuntu Touch doesn't need a benevolent dictator for life, check out the Ubuntu Touch Q&A 48, which is probably in the recommended videos list right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's OTA 9. You can check out the blog, ubports.com/blog, to find that information. Yeah. Let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about some new apps that came in. So last time we interviewed Alfred on the show and talked to him about what he's been doing with Ubuntu Touch, his contributions, and some things he wanted to bring to the platform. And this time we can talk about the things that he brought to the platform. So we've got a few apps here that are pretty neat. The first one is ISO Drive, which allows you to use your phone as a ISO for your computer. That didn't make any sense. It allows you to use your phone as a live CD.
It is quite amazing, actually, how this works. Because it's so surreal to just plug it in and use it as a USB stick. It's just like, this is turning all the nerd things on.
This is the future. I can use my phone as an Ubuntu live CD.
Yes.
Or any other distribution that is distributed as an ISO.
Technically, you could put, like, for example, Tails OS on it, and you could use a Tor network on whatever if you need super private in a coffee shop or something like that, without needing to bring your USB key, which is probably like when you're on travel. I usually don't bring my hardware my hard drive with me to stuff, so this would be a nice
thing. But you do bring your phone.
Yeah.
It is really neat. He's also brought Ghost Cloud, which is a Nextcloud client that I tried out. Couldn't quite get to work, but it's my fault and not his. It's my server being dumb.
Well, it's not only a Nextcloud. It's a
Nextcloud own cloud web dev, right?
So yeah, it's a web dev instance thingy.
My mistake.
It is really nice. I tried it also, and it worked perfectly for me. So.
In the middle here is DJ Turntable, which I have no idea how to use these things. I don't know if either of you tried it. But it's another cute, quick app that was brought over by Lionel, and oh geez, I believe it was him. Sorry if it wasn't. Who got the videos on how to bring a CMake or Qmake Qt application to Ubuntu Touch. And those have been put in the documentations in the cookbook section of the app development chapter of the UBports documentation. Easy for me to say.
Man, my internet is bad today.
Oh, that's no good. I'll do all the talking. It won't matter, right?
Maybe to make a quote from the open store, because DJ Turntable can be a lot. It's a scratchable turntable and drum machine app. So that's for the guys who do music productions out there on the go. Does it make more sense now? I will definitely. Yeah, I will definitely try it out.
I knew what it was
fun,
for, but I don't know how to use it.
Scratchable turntable is definitely my thing. Yeah, I come from this area where this was really great, grand.
And our final app to spotlight this week, these are all native apps, by the way, no web apps here, is Qml Creator, which is an application to prototype and edit QML applications on the go. That's good stuff.
Especially for people that want to do things with more feedback, visual feedback, and they don't have access to, let's say, we don't have really an SDK that gives all the design experience. So I think that's a great thing. People often ask us how they can start designing apps, and maybe this is a way to go. Make a nice QML design first, try out everything, and then hook it up. Also, very recommended for this week. Actually, did we do app reviews like that already before?
That was something that came out of the writers group.
Yeah. I think that's a new feature of this Q&A. So we are presenting apps that are in the open store from the last few days, weeks, or whatever.
Yeah, and you can go and grab all of these from the open store, open-store.io, or tap the little button on your Ubuntu Touch device.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
they should all be in the new and updated apps section.
Coming back to the QML Creator, it's a simple and lightweight IDE for projects based on QML and JavaScript. Syntax highlighting, simple project layout style, responsive interface, perfect. Runs on desktops as well as mobile devices. That's very important.
It's convergent. Yeah, and that's actually what convergence means.
Okay, cool.
So if you don't have all of these apps, this is your call to go out and get them right now. Let's DDoS the open store. Oops.
Well,
it can probably handle it.
It's Node. It can handle anything.
Right. Yeah, it's Node. It can handle anything. Florian, do you want to talk about a little Python project that we run, though?
Python?
Python.
Python. Oh, Python.
Yeah, Python.
With a hard T, Python. Python is like, yeah. This week, I finally managed to make the major updates to our translation server, which is running Webblade software, which is based on Python. And it was a really long and weird way because they are a very dynamic dev group, and they were pushing hard for more performance and more flexibility in their software. So they were increasing version numbers quite quickly, and I couldn't really follow up all the time. But this week, I jumped from 3.1 to 3.2, then took a long breath and jumped to 3.4 and 3.6 on the same day, the latter ones. Yeah, so the first one took one evening, and the second two increases took another evening. Why I'm saying this is because there was one part inside that really drove me nuts nearly. It's called celery tasks or celery queues, a special thing in Python to make task scheduling possible and also dispatching of tasks and workflows. The benefit for us is now that if you were using Weblet for a few translations, you might have run into the moment when it got unresponsive and it was just turning and doing something in the background. And it should get better now because they are dispatching a lot of tasks that can run in the background to the celery management, and they're not running in the web service thread anymore. So it took a while to understand what's going on there. I'm not a Python guy, but it seems now to work. And also, we started this week to have the GitLab hooks fixed because we totally forgot when moving apps to GitLab and other stuff that also the hook needs to move to notify that we have new translations. So I hope that after this week, whenever somebody changes a translation template, the Webblade software will get informed, will include automatically the new words for translation, and also send emails out to the translators. If you have subscribed, hey, there is a new translation that you can do. Why not visit our page? Yeah? So that starts now to get more automated. And in the end, it should have the benefit that we have the translations earlier in the apps and in the core OS parts, and also can push them more controlled into our releases, let's say. Before we had a weekly schedule, and now I want to get this a little bit more dynamic, maybe on a daily basis, push what's there, and not wait too long with the translations. Because that was a major achievement. So I'm patting myself for understanding Celery, which is actually written in the same way like the vegetable. Yeah. So don't ask me how they came up with the word. It's strange.
It's a distributed task runner for Python. I've looked at it before, but I haven't actually used it. I'm a bad person and I do things on the main thread.
Well, I must say it's really neat if you understand it, and it's more like a combination of, if you know RabbitMQ, which is a message queuing system, or Redis, blah blah blah. They are all a little bit similar in terms of actually Celery is using Redis, so I had also to install that. And
did you know that?
Worse, yeah?
Do you know Node.js have this built in?
Pardon?
Did you know that Node.js has this built in?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But on this machine, there is no Node installed at all. So yeah, it got very complicated. But I think I'm through with that. So yeah, anybody who didn't translate anything for us, give it a shot, give it a try. Translate.ubiports.com is always open for your suggestions and fixes.
Mm-hmm. Let's get one of those praise Florians going. If I can talk. There we go. Spam that in the supergroup, everyone. We're okay with you doing this. This is admin approved spam.
Well, just once.
Well, yeah. Don't do it a bunch, but it is admin approved spam. So take this as you will.
Thank you.
Well, it doesn't help if you just admin approved by one of the admins.
Oops.
Okay, let's take a break and
let's take a break, take a breath. Let's thank some sponsors.
Thanks to sponsors, indeed.
Yeah. So you can find all of our sponsors at ubiports.com/sponsors. We would like to give a special thank you to all of them, including Smooze, Private Internet Access, DigitalOcean, and Packet.net for our hosting, bandwidth, all that fun stuff. We have some people might not have seen this, but we have a monster ARM64 server that builds all of our packages for us, and that is thanks to Packet.net and the Works on ARM initiative. So that's something I don't think we mentioned nearly enough, because that would be super expensive of a server.
Mm-hmm. It has 96 cores, which is insane.
That is more than 6.
Math.
Yeah, math is really hard. We'd also like to thank our patrons, especially those who have selected the level where they get mentioned on this show, including Darko Balka, Lauren Gentileman, and Thoralf San. If you'd like to join those people donating via PayPal, Patreon, LibraPay, or if you're still holding out on Bitcoin, you can go to ubiports.com/donate.
It will come back. I tell you.
Okay.
Bitcoin will raise. Well, it's not that low now, though. You are not a believer, I can hear.
No.
It's rising. It's 5.5 US, 5.5K. But yeah, out of topic. Let's go to the questions.
So we take these questions every time from the forum. Now, there's one thing that I do want to say is thank you to everyone who's helping with plumbing this show lately, especially to oh no, Nigel. Sorry, very scatterbrained today. Especially to Nigel, who I give him the YouTube link for this, the live show page, and he does everything that is needed for promoting it, getting questions in. All I have to do is look at the thread and put them in the show document. It's really easy for me. And that is to go back to the OTA 9 Marius Barely Committed thing. It feels so good to have a community around us who is helping with so many of these things and self-organizing and getting things done.
You just want me to do nothing, do you?
I want you to work on Unity 8 because it's scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, Mirror is scarier.
Both of them are very scary, but less scary than the alternatives, granted.
Well, yeah, that's.
Yeah, as we already said last week, this year seems really that the community takes off, and we get a lot of contributors gathered. And Marius is now not in a circle of contributors because his internet is not contributing anymore. But that's something we are used to since a few years already. So why not just ignore it for a moment and speak about the community taking off?
You know, for a while, Marius's internet was going really well. Yes. I don't know if it just wasn't windy in Norway for a few weeks or what. A couple months?
Yeah, who knows?
You are back now. We can see you.
Back on topic. Yeah. So really, a big, huge thanks to all the small contributions and things that are going on. And a lot of people are now really staying with us for a long time. Already, they investing their free time and without much asking for, let's say, any benefits or any special status. They're just doing things, and that's so great. If you have people that are not bargaining for something like, okay, I can do this or that, but I don't know, will you mention me here or there, or what are the credits I get?
None of these people have asked me to credit them, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. So we are doing this just because we are really happy and proud that so many people came by themselves and said, yeah, okay, I will do this, I will do that. Also on the app section, we have now a lot of app maintainers already, and they are pushing hard to make small improvements. Just an example, there is now the counter for the letters in the messaging app. So when you reach the end of the 160 characters for your message, for your short message entry, then there will be a small counter counting down to 0 so that you are not overflowing in the second message that costs maybe money. It's a small but neat feature. It was not working before. Somebody repaired it. Perfect. Yeah. That's the real spirit. We are sitting on a bunch of tasks. We cannot coordinate everything. The best thing is if the community starts coordinating itself. And that seems to happen. That has happened this year pretty much, starting already with last year. And we are really, really happy about that.
Yeah.
So thank you, person who is currently helping us out.
Me?
No.
So before my internet left me, I just wanted to state that Unity is just scary in the sense that it's big, not that it's licensed. Just getting that out there. Okay. I might be late on that because
quite.
Blame my internet. I'm getting fiber now though, so
can't come soon enough.
Yeah,
can't come soon enough. Our first question this week actually comes from 2 weeks ago because we didn't finish all of the questions. Joselle asks, is it possible to make an encrypted and password protected folders where you can keep things away from the sight of someone stealing your phone? So, there is a thread on the forum about using eCryptFS. eCryptFS itself is no longer supported in Ubuntu past 1804, but it is somewhat functional in Ubuntu Touch, and that's really the only option right now. That's something that we hope to improve in the future, though.
Well, you technically could use tarballs to do this.
Yep, you could do that.
That's gonna be a pain to use, though. But Well, actually, if someone makes a tool that just encrypts it in a tarball, it could work. But no, I'm not out of topic. It's just my developer tingling.
Yeah. Next question. Do you plan to be able to read files from an SD card in ext4, NTFS, or exFAT? Let's do these in order. The reason that I believe it was both a technical and design decision that the external drives app will not mount anything but FAT32 formatted SD cards. Technically, the NTFS driver in really old Android kernels kind of sucks. So that kind of flew out the window. ext4 could only be read on Linux systems, so people who wanted to use Ubuntu Phone with Android would kind of be stuck if their SD card was formatted ext4. And exFAT is patented, so you can't distribute it. So that's those.
What?
That's the reasoning behind all of those, at least.
Can't Android can do X4, can they?
Android vendors have, well, they pay Microsoft. Microsoft patents exFAT.
No, I mean X4. Android
They
can do that.
can now. So you can do adopted storage, which makes the SD card kind of part of your internal storage. But then if you remove the SD card, bad things happen with the capital
Oh.
B and a capital T.
Bad.
Bad things. And finally, is it possible to create an app to compress and decompress files and folders? Yes, that is possible to create. And the file manager app, if you open a zipped or tarred file, will offer to decompress it for you. It just doesn't compress them yet, I don't think. Maybe there's code in it to do it, it just hasn't been enabled yet. So that'd be something to investigate. But everything is on this. Everything is on the phone to make that possible.
Yeah.
So it's totally possible for you to do.
And for the compression for the file manager, we could have a feature request. So please go to GitLab already.
Yes,
I think.
Yes,
this
yes,
one
yes,
has
yes,
moved.
yes.
On our GitLab organization, gitlab.com/UBports, and then you will find the apps subgroup. And inside for the file manager, just open an issue or a ticket for a feature request and say, please make it possible that we compress multi-select files, compress them into a zip file, for example, or a tar. And then you can, of course, send this to the Telegram app or to teleports to ship it out to somebody. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it would be a nice feature.
Mm-hmm. Next question came in from Stefan. Florian, do you want to read this one?
Sure. Yeah. While I'm already reading, just my screen moved a notch, so I have to find it again.
Oops, sorry.
Marius recently mentioned the possibility of supporting Debian and other OSs in the future. Recognizing that would be a very long-term effort, I'm less interested in how or when this would happen than more immediate concern. Should we be evangelizing the brand UBports instead of OS Ubuntu Touch? What was it exactly?
So,
okay,
the rest...
the summary, yeah.
I'm sorry, I only included the summary, apparently.
Okay, I read the full question. Please make an educated summary of that, because I'm not a native speaker. It's easier for you.
So with the Unity 8 stack coming to other operating systems that aren't Ubuntu, is it better to be talking about the brand or organization UBports rather than Ubuntu Touch itself?
Well, to answer that, firstly, it won't be called Ubuntu Touch because it's not Ubuntu. So no, it won't be called Ubuntu Touch. That's a clear one.
Right.
But what it probably will be, firstly, is Unity 8. It's like having Plasma on Debian. You don't call it KDE, you call it Plasma. So we probably will call it Unity 8, including the whole stack. Is basically what other desktop environments do. So calling it Unity 8 is probably, or at least the name of the desktop environment. So we probably not call it UBports either.
Yeah. And UBports is still a safe name with trademark and everything. We don't really have a clear answer for you, I'm sorry, but On other operating systems, it will be called Unity 8 rather than Ubuntu Touch, and the entire stack will be called Unity 8. Let's rename Unity 8 already. Someone says, it's not a bad idea.
It is. Yeah, I guess. Morph.
We're not calling it Morph. You got that once.
Morph D.
We had already people asking why it's called Morph and if we would have another name for the browser. So no, currently we stick with Morph because we find it kind of cool and unique. It's also like Teleports is now Teleports, and that's our Telegram app, and it will not be renamed. And we're also not changing the icon anymore because it was a long discussion and things have to come to an end at a certain point. Yeah? And it's like with the Brexit, you have to just do it, yeah, and not talk about it all the time and make 4 or 5 different votings and revote again. I can get it fully. So Morph browser.
Tell us how you really feel, Florian.
Yeah, well, I'm not going off topic now, but just that to understand the people, if it's always good if you want to get engaged and make a new suggestion, but if the process was already for a long time and there were people thinking about it, it makes no sense to change again what has been settled and stick with it for some time and let it settle itself, and then maybe after a longer period we can reevaluate if it's good or not.
Yeah. Okay. Up next is a question from Nick. What is the target market for Ubuntu Touch? We're getting the big questions this week, guys. I feel like we've made it in some way. So, the target market of Ubuntu Touch is people who are fed up with the duopoly of Apple and Google, and would like to be able to make their own choices of their privacy. If you were expecting an answer of, demographics, I don't have that for you because old age demographics do not apply to this situation.
Yeah, and we know from a few people. I mean, I know normal users, not only nerds, are using that at the moment. It's partially also because at the time when Canonical still had it, they were also marketing in a way that it's made for end users. It's not only a toy for IT enthusiasts or so. And that's also what we want to keep up. I mean, it's perfectly fine if you give it to your I don't know, grandmother, for example. We have actually at least one confirmed case where
we have one confirmed grandmother, everyone.
Yeah, no, we said in the beginning, we cannot say everyone is the target, yeah, but there's really a wide range of people that can be users of Ubuntu Touch already now, but of course also in the future. And it's really more about how you feel about the device that would be in your hands. If it's a commercial one, if it's an Apple device or it's a Google device or Android device. It's just about how you feel it. If you're fully okay with that and you don't want to think about what's behind, then maybe Ubuntu Touch will not please you so much because you have to be a little bit more interested in, let's say, how this all fits together. If you just want to have a device that works without any questions, Ubuntu Touch can disappoint you at a certain point because things are still not polished here or there. If, on the other hand, you're more interested in having something that you can precisely define what it should be for you, what is your daily driver, what is your companion in your pocket, then it's maybe a choice that you should take. Because with Ubuntu Touch, basically everything that could be possible, you can install exactly what you need, not more, not less, of course. You don't have bloated apps and spyware on it that collects all the data while you're using it. And I think that's already good reasons. Yeah?
To tangent off of that, I was looking at my router the other day, and I saw one of the Android phones in the house was connected and talking. And I wonder how many open sessions it has. Like open TCP sessions and UDP UDP doesn't have session, whatever. 140. Do you know how many my phone had?
Oh, God.
1.
And that was the push server, probably.
It's the push server. It's like, how do you have so many open connections? It's weird.
Oh, wow.
That can't be good for battery life.
Google probably have 50 of those.
I don't know. I didn't look into it too much more. It was just an interesting off-the-cuff thing that I saw.
Oh wow! I didn't expect it to be that much.
Neither did I. I wonder how it got that accounting, because that's a lot. But yeah, I hope that's a good answer for you, Nick, because there's no exact demographic, as they used to be called, for what we do.
Whoever wants to use it, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a hedge, but it makes sense in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Danfro asked a question about software. We're going to have a software question today. Marius has commented on moving from Ubuntu Location Service to a system based on GeoClue. Has there been any progress on that?
Yes.
Sort of.
So, there's both good and bad news. So let's start with the bad news. GeoClue moved its source to GeoClue 2, which removed all of the hybrid stuff. This basically means we can't really use GeoClue 2. GeoClue 1 is, I think, all the way back from 2015 and haven't been committed since then. So the idea of going GeoClue kind of went down the drain, even though it works fairly well. It's still prone to security issues and stuff like that.
And unmaintained.
So the good news here is that Canonical, before they left, they made something called Location D, which is not something like System D. It's just
good work.
Just daemon. So what it basically is, it is a major improvement of the location service that we use today, and it is quite nice. It's written in a really nice language style, C++. It's modern. It's also incredibly fast. It's even faster than GeoClue based one that I tried. Even though that's fast, this one is Android.
It's faster.
Yes, this is really nice because now it uses 3 methods of trying to get the IP. No, the location.
DHCP and
no, it uses IP to get location on the first try. Not the first try, but it does all this simultaneously. And then they have triangling based off the cellular towers, and then there's a GPS at the end. So it will constantly get better and better the longer you wait, as it does on Android. So comparing it with Android is pretty much just the same.
The first response after 1 millisecond is, "You're on Earth." Let me think a little bit longer where exactly you are. And then it circles you down in a spiral, and here it is.
Well, actually, the IP ones are actually quite narrow.
They're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I get cities that are, 50 miles away because my ISP doesn't have enough IP addresses anymore, but...
Well, if you have an IPv6, it's actually quite...
This is America.
Okay, they don't have that over there.
We don't have that newfangled IPv6. What is it now, 25 years old?
Oh, well, yeah. But the implementation of it and the length of it is kind of screwing with everyone.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
So that's GeoClue.
We hope that we hope maybe we can also fix the thing that when you were active in a region and then the current location service somehow caches or remembers the last position, and then you turn it on another place, sometimes it still shows you're here, and then it's very, very confident it's the right way, and then it doesn't update for hours. It felt like hours. So you just want to take a quick look and see, oh yeah, positioning works, and then, oh no, I've been there for 2 hours ago. What's going on? So I hope we can polish also here a little bit over the UX end, let's say, not only on the middleware and on the
low level. And there are cases where Ubuntu Location Service fails. There's no one who says that's not true. So it definitely needs help.
Yeah,
Location D is a major improvement.
Interesting.
It is comparing those to the GeoClue, what Safety has. It's kind of miles ahead. That's nice.
Okay. What is Sailfish doing these days?
On GPS, you mean?
Yeah.
They just use the old GeoClue from 2015.
Oh, okay. They're still okay. Are
Or
they
13.
committing to it or anything?
Nope.
Oh,
They're committing to their own plugin.
where's
but
that?
not
Where's that
GeoClue.
guy from Sailfish? He can set us right, I'm sure, if he's watching.
Toxic. What
Toxip.
Toxic. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you out there, Toxic?
Tell us why we're wrong.
Yes. Or why we're right.
That seems highly unlikely. Divide and Sponsor asked the question, how is the collaboration between UBports and Purism been going? Is there any news if they will be making the Librem 1 apps available in the open store?
So
Florian.
the collaboration. Yeah.
I can, just one or two words about these Librem 1 apps. Maybe that because our audience might not be on the latest news. So Purism announced, I think, this week, beginning of this week,
The first.
that, yeah,
The first.
on the 1st, sorry, yeah. Middle of last week, however, they announced that they are actually going to develop something like a Librem or Purism branded ecosystem of apps, which is basically reusing, forking, rebranding existing apps. And they should be then also kind of convergent between their notebook and phone OS, pure OS, whatsoever. And I didn't read all the details.
They also released Android apps and iOS apps, which is where these came from. This question.
Okay, perfect. So now it makes more sense to ask if those apps will also pop up in the open store, of course, yeah. And I think that's the reason for the question in this way, yeah. So Purism made a huge announcement about some app ecosystem that is, let's say, not only convergent on the same system, but they also have same or similar apps between platforms, and you will be able to use them transparently, let's say. So that's the reason for the question. Now back to Marius to continue here.
Yes. So let's start with the first bit of this, is the collaboration between us and Purism. So this has been an interesting topic for a long time, less of interesting because not much is happening, and it's getting quite annoying.
There's nothing to report, basically.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And we haven't got a dev kit. We had tried to contact them, not got any dev kit.
But
that's a TDR.
So we'll keep trying, but
yeah,
for now. As for the Librem 1 apps themselves, all of the apps for Librem 1 are forks of other open source projects like Tusky and Riot. So using the apps that are already available in the open store for the Mastodon and Matrix and email will all work just as well. But I don't believe they will be bringing their apps to the open store.
Nope.
Jitty had a question. Oh, it's an opinion-based app. It's an opinion-based question. What missing app in Ubuntu Touch have you all been really wanting to get ported? Is there any app that makes it hard for you? Is there any missing app that makes it hard for you to use Ubuntu Touch as your daily driver?
My bank's mobile app.
Oh,
because now I need to carry a dongle thingy to log into this thingy here to actually log into the bank, and it's I miss that, and Snapchat.
I don't think that'd be so bad. I guess I would rather carry around the little dongle. I would rather lose that than my phone. Or that didn't make any sense. I would rather have a physical dongle, actually, though.
It's pain.
Somehow it is a little bit, yeah. I can see that too. I'm for myself missing a Slack app. I would need this for my work. I don't need it really, but it would make it a little bit more comfortable for me, because sometimes there are Slack messages off work hours when I'm not in the office or not in front of my laptop, and I could reply to them, or, well, you should not think about work when you're not in work. So for me, it's healthy because I cannot participate in the chit chat going on the Slack channels in the company. However, still, it would be nice if somebody asked me something on late evening, because some of the people working later, I could answer a yes/no question quickly, maybe, and help them out. Yeah. So Slack app, and actually they have a web interface. They have a WebSockets API or something like that. It would be
It's a
possible
really weird
to make.
API. I've looked into it before.
So basically, there is an open door, or there's a potential open door for a Slack app for Ubuntu Touch, but yet it's not there, and I didn't see anything that would be easily ported. So I'm missing that a little bit. And the second thing, what's really missing is support for my car sharing in Vienna here. They only have an Android app, of course, and they have a web page. You can still log in. You can see your invoices. You can see the status of your current reservation. You cannot book a car with the web page because the official announcement was just, we had to remove the map with the cars where they're located because it's so much maintenance effort. That I got as an answer. So they disqualified themselves, but nevertheless, I would need this app to make a reservation. I have an RFID card to open the car. So when I see a car that's free, I can take it. I don't need the Android app for that. I just cannot find the cars, and there are not so many, and I cannot reserve them, and that's really a pain. If you want to have, let's say, car sharing, which is a good thing for the ecosystem and for the society, blah blah blah. I'm a really fan of car sharing, and they make it so hard to use, and it was already working flawlessly until they removed this map where I can see where are the next cars. So now, for that reason, I have the very, very old HTC One flashed now with lineage just for one app, and turn it on only when I need it to look where's the next car.
I think that's one thing that questions like this can miss sometimes is there are some really, really cheap Android phones that you can get, and they run Uber or WhatsApp or whatever it may be. And I know that's not a solution for everyone, but
until Andbox comes, I guess.
Yeah. And
well, actually, the car sharing app, they would start in Nbox. I tried it already, but it's missing all the Google middleware stuff, and then it fails and says...
So it doesn't have the location service or a map or anything.
Yes. They are just cheap apps themselves. That's the thing, yeah?
That is one thing that won't be fixed by Nbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was actually a discussion, to tangent a bit, on the Ubuntu podcast this week about being a advocate for open source and having the situation where someone says, there's just this one thing I need before I'll switch to Linux. And the observation that there is always that one thing. It doesn't go away. If someone doesn't want to use Linux now, they won't want to in just a little bit.
And also not in 2 years or in 5 years.
Right. So if... Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's the case for everyone, but certainly it is for someone. I think it doesn't really for example, someone that only use like Photoshop daily. I don't think they would really care what OS they are on. I think that's
as long as it has Photoshop.
Yeah, I think they are more. Most people are probably like that. They get what it's shipped with. So I think the problem is not that people don't install it. The problem is that they won't ship more laptops and desktops with Linux.
Yeah. Marius, is there anything? Well, you already said you're missing Snapchat.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not missing anything. I'm using Ubuntu Touch as my daily driver. So, all good here. When I travel, though, I do take an Android phone with me, so I'm not going to say like I'm not going to say there are no failings of the system.
Well, yeah, GPS is a major problem.
Yep, for sure, and it's. Oh yeah, for getting through customs, I needed the Android phone. Otherwise, I had to wait in the longer line for an hour.
Oh,
which honestly wouldn't have been that bad because on this trip back, I was in DC for 4 hours longer than I expected to be.
Oh.
That was a good time.
Okay. Ian has a next question. Has there been any work done or planned on the virtual keyboard and autocorrect?
Ubuntu Touch's autocorrect is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest there.
I want that press back to go back, like Android has. When you press the back button, no, it presses the back button. It actually.
Oh right, it actually presses backspace sometimes.
No. When you press backspace on Android, if you type something and it autocorrects you, and you type backspace, it goes back to what you originally typed before the autocorrect.
Molit does that sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's the problem. Is it does things sometimes. So, I don't believe there's anything in the works right now on the virtual keyboard, but there are people who are looking into the correction system and making that less annoying. Nothing concrete at this time, but there are people looking at it. And if you want to look at it, the code is in Ubuntu Keyboard on GitHub, and it uses the Molit server protocol library to do its work.
Also, one interesting thing, they are still working on Molit 2, which is actually based on the Ubuntu keyboard that came from the console.
That was a really long meow.
My cat really wants food.
But
I just need
just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes, Fluffy.
These animals can't wait. Cats can't wait. That's like the worst thing they. Can you wait?
Okay, while Marius is cat talking, I go for the next one maybe.
Cat walking.
Because Aurelio was asking if with this arrival of open smartphones like Pinephone or even 5, there should be then, let's say, Ubuntu Touch without Halium or an Android compatibility layer. Yes. Well, that's basically true. He wants to know where he can find useful information and porting guides about this specific way of porting and on an open hardware or ARM board. Well, yes, Aurelio, we didn't go through this ourselves, so it's hard to document what we are still trying to do.
But we haven't done.
Yeah, we actually need you to be more patient for that. So there will be documentation for sure. What we have done for the Pinephone stuff, for example, or what we are doing actually, and for delivering, of course, when we have it, then we'll start documenting also stuff about this. It's a little bit too early for that. Mm-hmm. The second part is also very interesting. He then states, of course, that if it's installable on ARM boards like Raspberry Pi, for example, it could enlarge the number of potential testers and developers. That's true. Why we don't give this more priority for the ARM boards? Well, actually, there is a user group which has a thread or a section on the forum. They wanted to deal with Raspberry Pi enablement, let's say. I don't know actually the current state, but it fell a little bit asleep, I think. Maybe we should shake them up again. It would be great. Of course, he's totally right to have something booting on small, inexpensive boards, maybe, just to get more attached to the system. And also, in advent of these new open phones, it could be really useful if we have developers and testers on them.
Mm-hmm. I think I want to just add to that. It's also the point that Mali, for example, and the driver situation on ARM is just horrendous. Especially when you run something that's non-X11. X11, they have driver for with everything that's Wayland and DRM based kernel driver thingy is just bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mir has some trouble on some platforms. There is a branch of Mir for Mali.
Yeah.
Specifically the Mali 400, I believe.
No, it's basically all Malis because
which just so happens to be what's used in this little guy, the A64.
But
which is what the Pinephone is based off of.
It's basically just hacks because Mali can't follow the rules.
Mali can't follow the standard correctly. Yeah.
Yes, basically. So, for example, when you send one command, it replies something else, and it's just like, oh my god.
Why can't you be normal?
Yeah, graphic drivers is a pain.
I think computers are just a pain in general, but graphics drivers especially.
Yeah, and with embedded, it became to the power of two, let's say, because you have also to fight all this embedded stuff and things. Anyways, well,
You
we are
asked
giving
specifically why it's not a priority for UBports.
Yeah.
Time.
The answer is, well, it is, but there are also higher priorities right now, such
Yeah.
as making
And
Unity 8. The newest version of Unity 8 and Mirror work correctly on the phone.
Yeah. And it's kind of a priority still because we have the PinePhone dev kits there. We already experimenting with that. And so we are laying the ground or making the basements that we can introduce more people to this. And then the priority will rise by itself. Yeah. But we cannot do this for, let's say, a wide range of boards at the same time. Doesn't make sense. We have to focus on a few things. And so when we get supported by the Pine guys that were very open and welcoming for us, then we can also raise hardware questions with them. We also, if we have a partner that can answer these things like, do you know why this doesn't work in this or that situation? And they might investigate with us on the hardware level. It's much easier. If you just buy a Raspberry, it's hard to get support with specific questions that stem from things that we are doing differently than other distributions. We are not a desktop distribution running on the ARM. We have something special, let's say. Yeah. How is a good English word for this?
We're unique.
We are unique. That's nice. Yeah.
We are unique indeed.
Yeah.
You
was
just,
a good one.
We're unique in what?
In every what? I think one of the major problem is not a problem, but one of the major difference is that we don't use X11, which pretty much everyone else based on. We try to be modern and use the modern standard, but vendors like ARM and Qualcomm and all this, it's just not fast enough.
You get either a X driver or a hardware composer driver.
Yeah, those
That's
are the
Android.
two that they have some Wayland drivers, but all of them are buggy as bug.
I appreciate that you constrained yourself there. We have a family-friendly stream.
Okay, so last questions. What is the status of Andbox, and will it be included in UT?
Ubuntu Touch.
Ubuntu Touch. So I know Rodney want me to speak more into the microphone, so I will try to do that.
Please don't troll the viewers.
Well, not the viewers, just Rodney. But the status of Andbox at this moment is it's waiting in progress of the new Unity 8 and Mirror. Because we need that since it's all compiled to that newer version of Mirror. Oh my god. That cat.
This is a high quality stream today.
My cat is ruining everything.
It's cat-fi. It's not hi-fi, it's cat-fi.
So yeah, the status of it is basically as it has been for half a year. We just need more time. The idea of it, as I had said before, was to bring it up to speed and maybe someone will take it over.
No one took it over.
No one took it over.
So.
But it will be included in Ubuntu Touch eventually.
Mm-hmm. Good answer.
We just need to finish Unity 8 and Mirror, and then we are good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
That does it.
So thank you, everyone, for viewing this Ubuntu Touch Q&A 48.
And I wanted to say we had a record high of 51 viewers live.
I'm pretty sure we've had more than that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, then I take it back.
I think we had up in 100, close to when we had Todd on.
Okay.
For all the people who are asking questions in YouTube live chat, I'm sorry we weren't able to get to you, but if you head over to forums.ubports.com, the post for this show is put up normally around Monday or Tuesday of the week, possibly later if Dalton doesn't do something right. And that post gives you a place to ask these questions, where we will take those first because they asked first, and the questions on the forum are usually a little bit more able to expound on themselves, ask more exact questions. So, you can find us during the week on tons of social media and chat platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram. We have a Telegram news channel. You can find us on Diaspora, and you can get your news directly off of Matrix if you like that too.
We should start just listing what we're not on.
If you'd like to chat with us, we have a Matrix group, a Telegram group, and you can find us on our forum at forums.ubports.com. And something I'd like to mention, because people like to ask this a lot, if you want to know what devices are supported by Ubuntu Touch, you can find that at devices.ubuntu-touch.io. The devices listed there are supported, no more and no less. There are also in-progress Halium ports. If you'd like to help other people port to your device, you can view the Halium documentation on how to get started there. Thank you everyone again so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Links to all the things I mentioned are down in the description. We would appreciate if you hit the like button, even though we don't get anywhere.
Just slap it anyway.
Next time. Slap the like button. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.